This is the Old School Game Geek, and it's time to talk about yet another game that was hard for no damn reason at all. You know what game gets my vote? I'm gonna give it to Ninja Gaiden for the NES. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who was the baddest NES ninja of them all? Let's give it to Ryu Hayabusa. He was pretty hardcore. And one of my favorites, I know. And that game, Ninja Gaiden, is hands down one of my favorite games of all time. But it's also one of the ones that I never beat. It was just so hard. Ninja Gaiden was so hard, it made me want to grab my control pad with a reverse grip and just twist until all the guts popped out of that biznitch. Of course, I wouldn't do that with my dad around because, he paid for the console. And I know he'd be like, I know you better not break that machine. Yes, sir. Now, as far as NES games go, I wouldn't say Ninja Gaiden had the best graphics Nintendo ever did. The actual game. But what I would say is that the cutscenes that Ninja Gaiden had were epic. Purely epic. I don't remember an NES game having better cutscenes. Honestly, I would say it's my hands down favorite for cutscenes. And it kind of paved the way for other games to have great cutscenes too. I just remember playing that game and thinking, man, this story is so amazing. And those cutscenes just kind of dragged you into the story. You really got in touch with the characters because of it. And even if you play it now, if you go back and play Ninja Gaiden now, if you got an emulator or if you go down to your basement and take out that Ninja Gaiden cartridge, blow it out, put it in, the cutscenes still hold up to this very day. Because I played and I was like, man, the story's still pretty darn good. So it's time to take a closer look at why Ninja Gaiden was so amazing and why it made you feel like you had video game PMS after playing it. You know, when you play a game that's so hard that you just feel irritable afterwards, it's like, don't touch me. Man, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Here is Ninja Gaiden. One of my favorite openings of all time. The red ninja and gray ninja in the field under the moon, getting ready to duel to the death. And then they got the ninja running steps. It's perfect. Classic. And there's our hero, Ryu Hayabusa. Alright, I love the way they set it up like a story. So Act 1, as you can see, the graphics aren't the best Nintendo's ever done, but they're pretty good. Okay? So we're just going to play through this first stage just to show you some of the power-ups. And I really want to know what kind of sword this guy has to make enemies pop into 4 pieces like that. Okay, and the star power-up we have right now is like the weakest of your power-ups, I think. Doesn't really do anything cool, just shoots straight out. The coolest ones, though, are fire and the jumping tornado slash. Tornado slash is the strongest weapon, I think, but also the hardest to control, because every time you jump and press B, you end up using some of your stock. Invincibility is another cool power-up in this game. And stop time. You can Boomerang star. Okay, is it me or do these boxing guys look like Balrog from Street Fighter 2? Huh. And I hate that. This ragdoll damage that you receive when you can't control your body, kind of like Castlevania-esque. And even the bosses in the game aren't so hard until you get to maybe the last 3 or 4. But all the other ones, you can run through them easily. The stages are the hardest part. This first stage was easy, but they get so much harder. And of course, beautiful cutscenes. Alright, another tough thing is some of the enemies are just too strong for their own good and too annoying. Like these jumping swordsmen suck, and these birds, the brown or the white birds that fly after you like homing missiles, they are the worst things in the game to me. Almost the worst things in the game. And this game puts annoying enemies in places where it'll make you fall off of something or get killed. It kind of sucks. Right, and this boss I remember being a little tougher as a kid, but you kind of see where they're going to land, so it's not so bad. But, like, even though it's not that hard, it's harder than maybe the earlier bosses. So, bosses get progressively harder, and stages definitely get progressively tougher. Like this jump, I used to fall off of this all the time. So you have to drop and catch yourself with that white dove in the way. I thought doves meant peace. You see that? This is really sneaky. Once you get to this stage, once you make it to like area 5-3, area 6-1, you're near the end of the game, and you should give yourself a gigantic pat on the back if you survive. Let's end with this duel. This guy named Mouth? Tomato? But this is the guy that fought your father. And you learn a lot more about the story after this fight. So let's wrap it up with that duel about to start. Well, Ninja Gaiden rocked because it had amazing cutscenes, an awesome story, and just, it's about ninjas. Like most games about ninjas do pretty well. And the game sucked. One, because you take that ragdoll damage. Like when you get hit, you just get knocked back and knocked back and knocked back, just like in Castlevania. You have really, really strong and annoying bosses like those birds or those statues that jump out at you like this near the end of the game. Like they slide along the floor and jump up. Those suck. So really strong bosses. And near the end of the game, the bosses are very, very strong. And if you lose to them, you get what I call like the Vaseline setback. It's like the programmer said, you didn't beat the game? Well, let me rub this Vaseline on your anus and send you back to 6-1. Yeah, but if you can get around all that, Ninja Gaiden is a great game, and it's a Nintendo classic. Well, guys, I'll see you next time. This is the Old School Game Geek, signing off.